Hi, this is an information video with details on the 14 to 16 provision at SGS College. There are three main provisions at SGS College if you are a pre-16 student. We'll talk about these over the next couple of slides, but they're to do with your current status and your eligibility. The main things to consider at the moment: if you're currently on roll with school and you're looking to transfer directly to college for years 10 or 11, then the only provision available to you at the moment would be SGS Create at the Stroud campus. That's separate to wider college provision, which we're going to speak about mainly through this presentation. So if you're looking at SGS Create, please follow the link below so that you can find out more information. For those of you that are home educated, then college can supplement home education on a part-time basis. The final slide on this presentation will give more information about being elected home educated if you're not currently, but it's something that you're thinking about. Also, if you're on roll with school, then we have our part-time SGS Flex provision at the Filton campus, and that would mean that your young person remains on roll with school, but the school support and fund a part-time course at college, usually just an afternoon a week or possibly 2 afternoons a week if you choose more than one subject. So for more information about Create or SGS Flex, there is information on the website. For those of you that are elected home educated, you can actually come into wider college and access a variety of courses that are at different start points and levels depending on where you are right now and whether you already have any qualifications. So for most pre-16s, the two main routes are the more traditional GCSE route, where you may come in as an elected home educated student and you may sit 2, 3, 4 or up to 5 GCSEs through college. That will then supplement your home education and you may choose some extra subjects as part of that. The other option, if you want a more vocational route or if you already know what direction you want to go in, is that you can come onto a vocational course, and that could be in something like construction or hair and beauty, although those two courses have age restrictions. We also have creative courses, we have business, we have pathways. So for more information on each course, please follow the links throughout this presentation and visit the website. So if you are elected home educated and you're thinking of applying to college, please read the information for parents in the useful resources section of the website, and also have a look at the process below. The first step is to contact a member of the 14 to 16 team by email or phone. We will then send you out a link to complete a pre-16 profile form, and then after we've got that, we will be in touch for you to book a one-to-one meet and greet so that you can come into college, you can look around, and we can discuss all of your course options with you. If you're not yet eligible, but you are thinking of home educating your child, then we're happy for you to get in touch and for us to have a chat with you, but we will not be able to take you through the application process until you are eligible. If you're still on roll with school at the moment, then you have the two options on this slide. So you can apply for SGS Create directly. That's a full-time 2-year year 10 and 11 provision, much like being in school full-time, and you would need to contact them directly. So the details are given on this slide. You can have a look at the website or you can email them if you require a bit more information. The other option, if you are more Bristol based, is that we have SGS Flex at our Filton campus. So SGS Flex supplements remaining at school, or it can supplement being home educated. These courses are usually just a couple of hours a week and they're a level 1 award. If you're currently on roll with school, you cannot apply for it directly. Your school will need to get in touch with us and say that they're interested, and then we will take them through the referral process. Everybody will then decide if this is the best option for you, and all being well, you'll then be invited in for a taster session and then you'll be able to start the course in September. Please note that college only has a September intake for students. So if you're watching this video a bit later in the year, you will probably need to wait until the next September before you'd be able to start a course. Here's a little bit of information about what we expect from our pre-16s at college. You are infilling into a college environment unless you're doing SGS Create. If you're in wider college, then the same expectations will apply as they do for our post-16 students. So that could be students of any age, mostly from 16 to 19, but could potentially be older. As you can see below, there are expectations around behaviour and around that young person being ready and having the maturity and the independence to be in a college environment. As a parent, you know your young person best, and sometimes we don't know these things until we try. So every student that comes into college, regardless of age, is on a 5-week probation period. And for pre-16s, they have that time to show that they are ready to be in college. If they're not ready to be in college, then they won't be able to continue for the year and they will return to home education, or if you're on SGS Flex, they will return to school full-time. So for those of you that are already elected home educated, you probably do not need this information. But for those of you that currently have a child on roll with a school and you're looking at your options of college, then this will be useful to you. Please note that even if your child is a school refuser and they haven't attended school for a few months, if they are on roll with a school, then they are not home educated. They are the statutory responsibility of the local authority rather than of you as parents. We cannot recommend that you choose to home educate your child. If you are thinking about doing this, then we strongly suggest that you speak with the education inclusion team at your local authority so that you can find out all your options for your young person, whether that's remaining in school, whether that's transferring to another school, whether that's an alternative learning provision or hospital ed, or whether you are thinking of home educating. The contact details are on the information for parents for our local authorities, but if you live outside of that, you may need to just look up on the internet the education inclusion team for your local authority. Please note that if you choose to home educate, you are not choosing to transfer from school to college. So your options at the moment, if your child is on roll with school, is do you want them to remain in statutory education, or do you want to home educate them as a parent and take on that responsibility yourself? It cannot rely on whether they then have a place in college or not. So once you've elected to home educate, after 6 months, then they may be eligible to apply to do college courses to supplement home education. So these will be on a part-time basis. It could be anything from just a couple of hours a week all the way through to being in college up to sort of 15 or 16 hours spread over 4 or 5 days a week. So provision can vary, but if your young person doesn't remain on that course at college, then please remember that you have taken on that responsibility of home education for the next year or two until that young person is post 16 or until you notify the local authority that you no longer wish to home educate. And therefore they will then need to find you a school space and take over that statutory responsibility. So it's a lot to consider. Please read the information for parents, which gives you a few more details. And if you've got any questions about this, please contact the 14 to 16 team so that we can make sure you're aware of all of your options and give you the right information. So lastly, you only need to have a look at this slide if you are the parent of a young person that has an EHCP. In general, the process is the same if they are currently on roll with a school in a specialist provision, or if it is stated that they have an EOTAS package on the EHCP, you cannot apply to wider college directly and do part-time vocational courses at college. You can still consider and look at SGS Create if appropriate, and if your young person is on roll with a school, they can still look at supporting and funding a place on SGS Flex. For those of you that are home educated, you can apply directly. You also need to notify your local authority that you are considering SGS College to supplement your home education. They will need to issue the college with a console, the same as if you're applying for any school provision, and the college will then check that we can meet the provisional requirements as outlined on the EHCP. If we can, then we can discuss options with you, and then we can go ahead and maybe offer a place to supplement your home education. If you're not yet home educated, the information on the slide before is still relevant to you. Please note that if you elect to home educate and your child has an EHCP, Your local authority will no longer have a statutory responsibility to find suitable education. You are choosing to do that yourself as a parent. Your local authority may still maintain that EHCP, but it may not have funding attached to it. So that is something you need to check with your local authority before you make that decision.